as more and more agencies do hybrid or remote, that adds another layer of like, you have to have protection.
The fun part is, okay, so how can we leverage technology to be more productive and sell more insurance?
All right, I'm so excited to be here with my good friend, Brad Rubin from Archway. I can proudly say that we are a client of Archway and longtime friend, road warrior together, been to many an insurance event, sponsored some different dinners, etc. But as part of your strategic plan for the year, you do need to look at your IT, the health. Is your systems running appropriately? Are there, potential phishing scams? Think about how much sensitive data you guys have. And since many of you sell cyber liability, we want to prevent a lot of that. But I also want to think about how unproductive it is when somebody does not have proficient technology and how much that could be holding back your productivity and the ability to get shiz done, as we like to say. So, Brad, why don't we start by you introducing yourselves for those people out there who might not have met the Brad Rubin, which would be so crazy to me to think an insurance.
Unbelievable.
Brad.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Kelly, for that introduction. You're absolutely terrific. And I learn a lot from you and your blogs, et cetera. So 39 years ago, I was building computers in my garage in Racine, California. Yeah, it's pretty. If anybody's ever,
it was like Steve Jobs next door, like he was building the first Mac. And
it was more like the taco stand was next door and stuff. It was anyway. So my best friend's father needed a computer. He happened to be an insurance agent, and that's how I got started with comparative raters, where you're flipping this in and out. I sold my first company in 2000. I thought I was going to retire, had some life changes, had a Vertafore rep come to me and said, Brad, I hear you're back in the IT business. This was in the depths of the Great Recession, 2009. And I said, no, I'm not. And she said, I need you to be. And if you knew this person, you didn't say no to her. So we started a company. We thought it would be this little regional company out here in LA that worked with insurance agents. Now we support close to 400 independent agencies, large and small. We support many of the top 25 agencies.
Amazing.
All over the country. I have a staff of 95 people. You're talking to the dumbest technical person at Archway Computer.
Well, luckily you're not on the support line then.
No. I tell my clients if they see me walking in to fix their computer in their office to lock the door before I get in.
I actually have a call with one of your reps because something failed on a backup and I have to get them access to get it back and up and running. So just, these guys are very proactive. I didn't even know something had failed in a backup, but they have called me and emailed me and texted me, and Friday, Thursday at 4, we are going to figure out what's going on.
I always say my mother has a black belt in Jewish nagging. So it's sort of filtered down through the company.
Listen, I always know when my domain is going to expire. So let's talk a little bit about first, like, what are the hot items that are kind of coming across that you're seeing that insurance agencies might want to just hone in on, right? Because things develop so fast in this area. So if you were kind of nail down a couple hot button items for people to pay attention to.
Yeah, security and compliance is probably numero uno. Those events can take an insurance, they're existential events, right? I've seen insurance agencies go out of business, sell at fire sale prices after an event like that. And I've seen cyber insurance not pay claims because people check boxes that they shouldn't have been checking. We oftentimes see on a insurance app, are you SOC 2 compliant? I can assure you, you are not. You did not spend several $1 million to become SOC 2 compliant, but your agency management system vendor probably is. If you're hosting your email with Office 365, you are. So you have to sort of answer those questions, no but. I'd say the second hot button issue is, just if you've got a file server on premises, you got to talk to your IT folks about why. Maybe because I've worked with independent agents for so long, Kelly, I see every IT issue as a bundle of risk. And in a server, I see a giant bundle of risk.
Well, I see it like it used to be the paper files. Like, what if your office floods? What if your office burns down? Like, it's no different to some degree.
No, it's no different, period. Or what if the people walk off with your files? Right? That's what I'm afraid of. I've seen servers stolen, and now we have what's called a data breach. And you've got to inform all of your clients. And then the third thing that I think everybody's talking about is AI, artificial intelligence, and how it impacts agencies. And I see AI as more of a feature of products versus a product, right?
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I see, like, we use HubSpot CRM, and they're sort of incorporating they're sort of incorporating some AI related stuff. I expect the bigger agency management system vendors to get on that, but I would recommend people start using the paid version of ChatGPT.
Did that. Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And your people know Steve Anderson. He's kind of a guru in the space. He did it as it solves the blank page problem, right? You need to write something, and it may write it and it may lie in it.
Right.
But at least it gets the page started.
I like to say it's like my buddy in creating things. Like, it's like my brainstorming partner.
Sure.
You do have to read it. We had somebody, you'll get a kick. We had somebody quit their job at an agency and used ChatGPT and forgot to put company name in the resignation letter. And it was like, yeah, you probably do need to read this a little more.
I was in Italy. We'll call this hashtag first world problems. I was in Italy with my wife, and we were going to Siena, and she said, the only thing I want, and she said it in her Latin voice, the only thing I want, Ruben, is a spa, a gym and a spa. And so I chat GPT'd, I want a hotel that's close to Siena, that's 4 or 5 star, blah, 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 blah. And it gave me a hotel, and we get there, no spa, no gym. Yeah. And I was...
Gotta double check those things.
Right. I trusted ChatGPT. Don't trust everything that comes out of that. Yep.
Well, I just stayed in an Airbnb in Banff, Canada, and it says it has a gym, but it doesn't open till 8 a.m., which doesn't sound so bad, but like you want to go do stuff all day. And a lot of these national parks, you got to get in line. So it was pretty much useless. So I didn't use ChatGPT.
I want to stay at that Airbnb, Kelly, because, I'll have an excuse.
Yeah, you'd be like, it opens too late and we got to get to the national park.
Exactly.
What is it? Trust but verify?
That's what Reagan said.
Yeah. So I think that all of these things are really, really important. And I think sometimes insurance agents want to leap to the end of AI. Like, could it underwrite a whole file? Well, how about we just get your people to know the coverage? So I think all of those are really, really, really important items. And especially what you were saying, just the security component. I mean, you have producers on the road, you've got people working from home. There is a lot, I think, to consider. And I also want to just let you know, like, hey guys, like, are you an IT expert? Because I can't keep up with all the stuff that Brad's team sends me. And that's just like a fraction of what they're looking at all day long. I don't want to be a tech expert.
Yeah. And I would sort of question if you've got many of the agencies we talk to their IT is being provided by Joe down the street.
Or the guy that is the most techie on the team.
Well, yeah, that for sure. And so I think it's impossible, even if you're Bill Gates, a single person to keep an agency.
So true.
Yeah. So we've got 95 people on our team, and we've got a security team of about a dozen people. And there's all sorts of different sort of avenues on that, phishing, backup, disaster recovery, antivirus, endpoint detection and response. I mean, I could geek out for you on this.
I got my notification today to turn my laptop off tonight so you can run your updates.
Right. That's right.
I never do it. I shouldn't tell you this. I run the risk. I very rarely do it. I know, Brad, I'm sorry. He's going to cancel my contract. Be like, you're a terrible client.
Well, it's been really nice knowing you, Kelly.
I get it. And it will come to like 2 and I'm working and I'm a bad laptop shutter downer. I'll admit it. You know,
well,
maybe that'll go in my strategic plan is shut your laptop down when Brad sends you the nasty gram.
Right. The black belts in nagging are going to be all over you.
That's all right. So people are getting ready to make their plans for next year. And maybe IT is not like the sexy, like, not like, what am I going to sell in insurance or what kind of things am I doing? And I like to fall this into the adulting category of owning a business, right? Like you need oil changes, you got to go to the dentist, and you own an agency, you got to buy cyber sport, you got to have a budget. Like there's things that you just need to do. So taking a look at it, like somebody who maybe has Joe down the street or the techie guy on the team, or maybe is using somebody else, but they just feel like it's a very, and that's the thing I'm impressed with you guys. It's a very proactive. I think other IT support we see is very reactive. You have a problem, you call them. Where your team is very engaged, very proactive. Also, guys, 24/7. So if you're in Italy and you can't log in, you can call somebody. If it's Saturday, you can't figure out your stuff, you can call somebody. And the biggest thing that by working with Brad's team is they stopped calling me when they had a problem. Because I'm not the tech person. So we would sort of wing it when we were smaller. And now I just, Archway can help you.
Yeah, we tell it's generally, the owner or the operations manager, we tell them there's a powerful sentence we are going to give you. No, comma, call Archway.
And literally, somebody picks up and it's like Jake from State Farm,
So, and you can now chat with us. I don't know if you've been using our chat support yet, but we have a chat czar that is really who's evangelizing chat within our clients.
So imagine this, guys. No one calls you about tech problems. When the printer's broken, they don't call you. When they can't quite get their camera to work on a Zoom meeting, they don't call you. They call the chat, or they chat the chat czar.
Well, she oversees a team.
That's all right. There's more than one chat czar. There's chat mini czars.
That's right.
Chat soldiers underneath the chat czar, and that is executing the mission. All right. So it's, I know there's some things I want to make sure we talk about, mostly around like efficiency, because gosh, I mean, we hear you can't hire, my team's always backlogged, everybody's burned out. And then sometimes I watch how slow people's computers are and I'm like, well, no doubt.
Right.
So what would people need to do thinking about to say, is my IT infrastructure healthy, or do I need to make some adjustments?
Yeah. I mean, there's different parts to this equation. So here goes. If you've got a lot of equipment that is old, before you write a check to refresh that equipment, you've got to investigate the cloud and doing what we call desktop as a service, because that's the time to do it, right? And there you have options like Amazon Workspaces and Windows 365, where you're basically just paying monthly to have a Windows desktop in the cloud. And you screw bar it, we like to say in my industry. You screw it up beyond all recognition. My techs can just click a couple things and reset it back to where it was before you screwed it up. And you never have to put more memory into them. You can get more memory and pay monthly to have a more powerful machine. And again, it's a couple mouse clicks for our team. So number one, I would be, before I was going to refresh a lot of equipment, and we don't sell equipment for that very reason. We want to be sort of independent in our thinking about this stuff. before you go out and buy equipment, at least investigate these desktop as a service offerings through Microsoft Azure is one of them, and AWS. We talked about that. Number two, I really like to invest in internet connectivity because I used to say our PCs are becoming glorified iPhones, but they're not even that anymore. They're not even that smart. Our PCs are becoming web browsers, right?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And so how much memory, how much CPU do you need to run programs in the cloud, web-based applications? Not really that much. And so the life cycle of refreshing computers, I believe, is becoming longer.
That's fair.
But what we do see sometimes is we see old servers that cannot be patched, cannot be made to be secure, that they're just keeping on because, well, for sometimes the IT company loves having that server there.
Keeps them employed.
Sometimes people, yeah, exactly. And sometimes people are just afraid to turn it off because it's always been on, and it becomes a security hazard and it becomes a single point of failure. Right.
Right. You're too reliant on it almost.
You're too reliant on an aging machine, right? And that can take down your entire office, or even worse, open you up to a hack.
Oh, I remember back in the day when agencies used to plan for 3 years about replacing their server.
Yeah. And I just say, before you write that check to replace the server, you got to investigate the cloud, because another option that a lot of our agents use is they'll have, sort of smartish PCs that they'll be using all of the server components that are built into Windows 365. So they're saving all their files to the cloud. They're accessing their files from anywhere. Those files, when they're at home and they modify them, they get modified in the cloud. And so there's not this version control issue going on. Does that
makes sense? Yeah. And I love another thing that you guys do, which is send out the fake phishing schemes to see who on your team clicks on them. So that I think that's so, in my mind, that's kind of cool, because it's let's talk about you not clicking on just anything out there.
Well, Kevin Mitnick, who later started a company called KnowBe4 that does that phishing email type stuff, he was one of the original hackers. And the way he hacked was he would call a bank, and he would call the secretary for the bank president and say, "Hi, this is Kevin from IT. I need your password because we're going to be doing some updates tonight." And they would give it to him.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody was doing this back then. So that was social engineering now and back then. And now we've got other forms of social engineering, which are these emails, right? Yeah. That are very clever.
Yeah.
So what we do is we'll send out fake phishing emails to your staff, but we'll get clearance from the agency owner or the operations manager, because a percentage of your people are going to say, "I got this weird email, Kelly. What's this email? This weird email from you?"
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
You're kind of catching it in advance.
Well, we just don't want that to happen on the busiest day of your year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we had some people that even now texting, it's a fake text from the agency owner saying, "Go out and buy $500 of gift cards and I'll reimburse you," and blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's happened a couple times in agencies. So it's out there and it's a real threat. And I think as more and more agencies do hybrid or remote, that adds another layer of you have to have protection. You have to be able to figure that piece out if that's something you want to offer. The last thing you should do is just be "Here's your laptop, go home."
Good luck. Yeah.
And then they can't do this, or the monitor doesn't connect. And then again, your IT support, and it's taken you away from running your business.
Right. Yeah, we can get into a lot of details, but probably too much for this call.
That's right.
Email spoofing has become a big deal. And there's such easy, basically free ways to stop it. And we look at agencies all the time, and we can tell from the outside, through public records, that they're completely open to spoofing, which means me saying I'm Kelly at agencyperformancepartners.com, and there is no way for the receiving email
To
to
know.
know it didn't come from
Yeah.
you.
It is kind of scary when you start thinking about it.
It's terrifying.
So that's why you need Archway to have your back and not you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, and I tell my clients all the time. I say, some pretty big names got hacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is 100%. So any IT vendor that tells an insurance agent you can cancel your cyber insurance if you go with us, I've heard this from IT
My
companies.
goodness.
Yeah.
Well, the MGM Grand went down, right? When they got hacked, like we have to be out there and we sell cyber insurance in many agencies. So we have to kind of be on top of it. But I also truly, truly believe that we're not going to become less dependent on technology. We're going to become increasingly more and more dependent on technology. So what is the cost of having technology that's not working right? Or, and I want to say this delicately, there is usually a wide range of technology skills in an agency, right? So there are some people who are like a whiz, no problem. You pop it open and they're good to go. And then there's some people where no matter if I'm on my 45th Zoom meeting with them, they still can't get their camera to work or their
Right.
sound. Now, some of that could be they don't want to be on camera, and so they're presenting. They're presenting this way. But you have to identify a lot of times those people who are maybe a little less tech savvy, have the most insurance knowledge in your agency, and having a way that they can feel comfortable, I think, reaching out when they are struggling is also really critical.
Yeah, we try to train our techs to have what I call good bedside manner,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we have a great customer service team and quality assurance team that's all about our agents want to sell insurance and service their clients. They don't want to deal with IT stuff. And we have to be very respectful of their time. So some of our clients will email us and say, hey, I'm having this problem, but I'm so busy now. Can you do it after hours?
Yeah.
And we'll schedule, okay, we're going to come in at 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Fix this problem without you being around.
Yeah, just like leave your computer on or let us in before you go,
Right.
and you'll be good
Right.
to go, which I think is so huge, right? Like they do have priorities and they do have deadlines that they have to hit, and they do have producers looking at them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They want to do insurance. And really the most successful agencies, they'll leverage technology, but they won't be obsessed with technology.
I know. They don't have the tech stack that's like this.
You're right. And they're not getting involved in the nitty gritty details and arguing about what's the best endpoint detection and response package on the market. And
there are some insurance agencies owners out there that don't actually want to sell insurance. They would rather like buy technology and be in a whole different stratosphere because it's boring or more interesting, maybe. I don't know.
We've run across those. Mm-hmm. And I try to tell them, you're growing or you're dying, right?
Right.
And they got to spend their time working with people like you to grow their agencies.
I also like to say, where do you make your money? You're going to make your money selling insurance. You're not going to make your money being like the king of insurance AI right now, right? Like, or queen, I should say too. So how does, like somebody's interested, they're like, man, I'm getting riddled with tech questions. I'm not sure. This was eye-opening. What does working with Archway look like? I know, but you probably can say it way, way better than I can.
I don't know about that. But, so the way you start working with Archway is you give me a call. You go to our website, myarchway.com.
Schedule on your calendar link.
You schedule some time with me, and then we sit down and I learn a little bit of history about the agency. I learn about the products that you're using, right? Because those products drive a lot of the decisions on what sort of hardware you need, what sort of cloud services make sense, et cetera. And we do a pretty deep dive to understand the agency. And then for people that do become a client, we have a fairly lengthy discovery period of where we ask a lot of questions that the agency isn't going to know, and some of them they will. But it's about getting all the information, so we don't need to ask you in order to fix a problem. And
Well, and you guys are really good about that. Like, you're like, this is where you would go to find it. You're not just like, hey, send me this and like call me tomorrow. It's like,
yeah,
I mean, a couple people would get on and be like, all right, let's share screens. Okay, this is what it is. Let me grab that. Like, very, very hands-on.
yeah, yeah. And then we have our turn up process, but we also do quarterly business reviews, which aren't about like all the boring technical stuff. We stopped 1,000 viruses and we did this and we did that. It's more about, I go to a lot of conferences. I meet a lot of smart people with smart products. I talk to a lot of agencies, and it's about how can we leverage technology that we don't sell
Mm.
to grow your book of business.
Yeah, how can we solve your
Right.
problems?
Yeah, that's the fun part for me. There's a lot of this, which is keeping the lights on and
Yeah.
keeping the doors locked. But the fun part is, okay, so how can we leverage technology to be more productive and sell more insurance?
I love it. I think that's a really great, simple, easy to use mission. And I just encourage everybody listening right now, we've had agencies that have left the Joe down the street, and it's super frustrating to your team when they don't call back, right? Or I have to open a help desk again, hear back 2 days from now. Like in insurance, 2 days can be eternity, right? Or,
Yeah.
like, oh, they tell me to restart my computer. Well, I did that 5 times. And doesn't seem to be like an actual answer. It's like the 5 major things where I think you guys, if you don't know, you will really dig into it.
Yeah, we're trying, we track everything, and we're almost at 60% resolve in one call.
That's awesome.
So you call, the person who answers the phone may be able to fix the problem. If not, within between 0 and about 4 minutes, they'll have a tier 2 tech on with you on your computer fixing the issue. And so what we try to do is eliminate the back and forth.
I can tell you that's true, because I think I reported something and then literally I was like hanging up the phone. The person was calling me and I was like, whoa. Hello. It's only happened once
The hackers
before.
hacked our phone system.
Somebody with USA like hit my husband's car, and literally we're reporting the claim, and like the rental car place was calling at the same time, and I was like,
That's impressive.
It was.
Who was watching you?
It was Big Brother AI. I don't know. Maybe AI was calling me.
Yeah.
But I think all this stuff is so great. So, to me, tech is our future. It's not going away. Even if it's like we're not going to become robots. All of your people are supported by technology. And when it's not working correctly, there is a cost to your business. And when you're not the IT expert and you don't know what you're doing, that takes you away from growing and running your business. So I just can't speak enough. Like, I think some of the most frustrated points in my life, Brad, have been around technology not working. When the Kelly you don't want to see comes out.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't want that.
No, but you know what I mean? Because it's always the time when you're up against a deadline, something's going on, and then like, boom, and you're like, of course. So I look at it like Brad's team is my like superheroes, we call, so that
that's nice. Thank you.
I don't have to go on YouTube and find out what that screen means,
Right. No, thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah. So you guys can find Brad. You'll have all his contact information, but pop on the calendar link, at least investigate it, right? Like look at it and say, hey, this is something my team really needs. But most importantly, if you're getting all those IT calls, you will not regret signing up with Archway, because let me tell you something, when people are down on their computers, you have to drop everything and deal with it.
Yeah. And what I would tell people is some people are like, they have their brother-in-law that they can't fire, right?
Mm.
And they don't want to quote unquote, waste my time. But I've seldom found that I've had a conversation with an insurance agency owner or office manager or whatever, where I haven't learned something, right? And so, yeah, you're never going to be able to switch to Archway for IT support. I'm still up for a conversation, right?
Yeah.
And I'd love to learn about the challenges of your agency so I can give you some good advice. And this community is such a small place and everybody knows everybody. And, we may not be perfect for your agency, but we might be perfect for another agency that you know of. So,
Yeah. And also brother-in-law might want the support.
we
You know?
replaced a few brother-in-laws.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what are we gonna do with Tim? We'll make him IT support.
What? There was a movie. What about Bob?
Yeah.
What about Bob?
Well, he failed at accounting. He failed at payroll. I know what we'll do. We'll put him in charge of IT.
That's the Peters principle. So,
well, I appreciate all that you do for the industry, and thank you so much for helping us out. And like I said, we will go ahead and get everybody the contact information. But if you're finding that this is a pain point and you're putting it in your strategic plan, we highly recommend you reach out to Archway. And like I said, I'm happy to take any reference calls on how you guys have helped us out dramatically. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly.
All right.
Congratulations on your success.
Oh, you too, Brad. All right. We'll catch up with everybody later.